What's up, everybody? This is your boy Charismatic Lee with another episode of Talk What You Know. I want to discuss the Black Lives Matter movement, its effectiveness on the black community, whether it's necessary or whether or not it's simply a social media internet fad. Black Lives Matter started with the Michael Brown incident back in 2014 in Missouri when allegedly he was tussling with a cop who asked him to move out the street and grabbed his gun. The cop shot him. His boy says that his hands were up, and it sparked a whole internet outrage where the ballistics actually showed that he did in fact touch the gun. And if he didn't, if the cop manually forced him to touch the gun, did some corruption, regardless of the fact, his fingerprints were on the gun. And according to ballistics reports and the autopsy, his hands were not up. The autopsy said it was impossible for his hands to be up. Who do you believe? Needless to say, that kept happening around the country. It's been happening forever. But after that, a whole ton of high-profile cases just kept happening over and over and over where black people and white people in specific have been involved, and people are sick and they're tired of it. Having said that, it begs the question, do black lives actually matter to black people? And the first immediate answer is no. And I guess you say to which black people? To the ones that care or the ones that don't care? And the primary focus is on the ones that don't care. How do you make them care? You can't make anybody care. Once people don't care and they have their mindset, it's a pattern that's going to continuously repeat itself forever. When we say we need to stop the violence, this needs to stop, we need to stop the black on black crime, it's the same things that I've been hearing since I was like 6 years old. It's the same things. Growing up in Camden, New Jersey, you hear it over and over after every murder. Every summer there's a stop the violence barbecue that gets shot up or people start fighting, and it allows for the stereotype, which may not be a stereotype, that says black people can't have nothing. The first thing black people say, anytime something negative happens at a black event, black people can't have nothing. They don't know how to act. Whether or not that's true is debatable, because immediately people are going to say, we've had successful events where nothing popped off. I get that. In every hood in America right now, there's some young boys strapping up, getting ready for war, ready to pop off against somebody that disrespects them or accidentally bumps into them or is wearing a different color as them. And they are always the minority. So to say that black lives don't matter to black people, to all black people, is misleading. But the black community in general has a population and will always have a population, in my opinion, of people who just don't care. And it also leads to this question. Are drug dealers bad people? Not necessarily. I grew up and hung around a plethora of drug dealers. Drug dealing 101. The first thing you're supposed to do, when you start selling drugs, if that's the route you choose to go, is acquire a gun. That's just a drug dealer 101. You need a burner. If you care about your blood staying in your body, then you need a gun. Now, most drug dealers start dealing drugs when they're teenagers. Sometimes, in some cases, before they're teenagers. 10, 11, 12, they start as lookouts, or they just hanging because they from the hood. 13, 14, 15, these young boys got guns, or they have access to one. And everybody's tough because the older guys around you are tough. So you got to be tough too. Everybody's strapped up and ready to go in case something pop off. And if something does pop off, then you've never shot before. You don't go to the range and practice. You don't go out in the field and practice. So you see somebody that you don't like for whatever reason, they disrespected you or your set or your team, and they gotta go. And now you're shooting at them, and a lot of times you're no aim having self, shoot some little girl who's outside playing or some little boy who's walking home from school. It's a pattern that never ends, and it's frustrating. I shoot. I love to shoot. I love to go to the range and get busy. And the first thing I want to do when that gun is in my hands is shoot it. I can't wait to shoot it. When I'm holding a gun, I get so restless. I get restless. I can't wait to shoot. I'm like, hurry up and load this clip. Like, let's go. Like, I can't wait to empty the clip and shoot at my target and reload and shoot some more. So imagine how a kid feels when they got a gun. How tough, how Roy Jones Jr. like everybody becomes when they know they have access to a gun. You look at the Michael Dunn case, the Florida loud music case a couple of years ago. Excuse me. We got a white man who's arguing with 3 or 4 black guys in the car. Would he have been arguing with them if he didn't have the gun in his glove compartment? No. Like, who's that tough? He wouldn't have said anything to him. The other guy in the case, the prosecution asked him, did he hear the loud music? He said yes. He was a white guy too. He said, well, what did you do when you heard the loud music? He said, I just moved my car to another spot, which is the same thing he could have done. So let's wrap this all back into the Black Lives Matter movement. The last time some young boy got killed in your hood, whether he got stabbed or whether he got shot or suffocated or drowned, and it happened not by a white cop, by some other black person, maybe another black kid, black man. Was there a march for that? Did Black Lives Matter show up for that? Were they protesting for that? But we get so up in arms when it's some white cop, as we should, wrongfully shooting some black kid or some black person. But how come, because we're so desensitized and basically used to it, we don't get up in arms when, I'm not saying we don't get angry and we don't go to take to social media and go to the funeral and get upset. What I'm saying is the pattern continues over and over and over again. We got kids getting killed over basketball games because somebody had a gun. It kind of leads back to the gun control conversation. Even if we do have gun control, even if we have if every state passes the best gun control laws that you could possibly pass, people still won't be able to get access to a gun. And when you have that access to the gun, it's like you have this great responsibility and decisions that you have now to make. And it's harder for somebody who's younger to make that decision. To be like, this is not a good idea. Maybe I should not shoot and kill this person over this corner that's not going to be mine in the next 2 to 3 years anyway. Over this money that comes and goes. The stuff doesn't matter. These are the things that shouldn't matter. And it raises the question. We all have drug dealers in our families. We all support and love them. It's not just the drug dealers. A lot of times it's not the drug dealers. When it is the drug dealers, a lot of times most of those dudes get shot out of fear. Because the other guy had a gun. Because that's the first thing that you're supposed to do. So let's wrap this all up. Let's wrap this all up. Because we hit many tangents. And the original premise was, how effective is the Black Lives Matter movement in the black community? Is it a social media fad? Do black lives really matter to black people? And is there a way to actually curb all of this? I want to say overall, like honestly overall, Black lives don't matter to black people. And I hope I piss somebody off when I say that. Because it's not the voting and the government that's going to make the change. It has to be each and every community. Like, people have to care. The effectiveness of the Black Lives Matter social media movement is null. And again, I believe that somebody's going to have to come down here from above and fix this, because overall, like, things are not going to stop. The same patterns keep happening over and over. This is your boy Charismatically. I'm just talking what I know. See you next time.